Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Renowned Explorers International Society. My name is Rooster, and this is an exciting new adventure-style game. It's developed by Abbey Games, was released last year, and it's quite an involved game. It's really nice. We'll go for a normal difficulty for now, and we're playing on adventure mode because that's the mode for real people, for a real challenge. Basically hard mode. What's it called? Anyway, we're choosing for our expedition because we're explorers, so we're looking for exciting artifacts to find and all that kind of stuff. We're selecting from a pool of 20 characters to be our team. We're selecting 3 characters, of which one of them will be the captain. In this case, it will be Anna Proskurikova. I'm completely butchering that name, I think, but yeah, she's a scientist. And 2 recommended characters to go along with her are Hattis Ataman. And let's see who's the last one again. Oh, Dolores Garcia. So the captain has a special bonus because she is the captain. In this case, we get bonus study stuff whenever we complete a research paper. We'll get into all of that much later. This game is a lot easier if you just see it in action first. So we'll just get started real quick, and then we'll explain about what we're doing a bit later. So let's start our adventure. It has a real nice art style. And what game would it resemble? The most likely suspect here would be FTL. Without much of the well, we still do have the pressure of time because we only have as much supplies as we're starting out with, but it's a real game of risk-reward, basically. Welcome to Renowned Explorers. We need to earn the most renown possible within, I think, 5 expeditions. And the game is going to show us... Well, we're going into the tutorial, but we'll just learn it the hard way. Skip the tutorial. There we go. Our first expedition is always selected at random. So we're going to find the burial site of Saxon kings. So we're on the mainland of Britain, but King Egbert's grave remains a particular mystery. Alright, so time for adventure, and let's go. So you immediately see on the map where we're supposed to go, and we will make our way over there through the map here. Each step will consume as much supplies as indicated here, and we have 7 supplies right now. If we run out of supplies, that doesn't mean we can't move, but our party will start to accrue random penalties. Which will make our final encounter a lot harder. So that's something to keep in mind, but since this is the very first expedition, we do want to explore as much as possible. Let's see, and we get some kind of indication on what we can expect to find on these locations. So for example, this will cost 1 supply, there's gold to be found and status to be gained. So let's check that out. As we walk along a hill path, we come across a crossroad. We decide to follow one of the off-road paths for a while. Here we find a lot of sideways and crossings. The paths sometimes contain ancient Saxon tools, which we take with us. And we eventually wind up at the same crossroad as before. We continue on the main road and get a collect token when we arrive at the next hill. We look back at the hill with the strange paths. We are astonished to see that those crossroads and sideways were actually a giant Saxon hill carving. What a sight and what a story. So we also get a campaign token. And these tokens, we gather all kinds of different tokens during our journey, and these we turn in at the end of the expedition to gain various benefits. So collect tokens will later give us gold, as well as renown. And campaign tokens will give us status as well as renown. And the amount of status or gold we get at the end of the mission can of course be increased by various differing effects. So this one says it has a technique challenge where an engineer or a rogue might be helpful. I don't think we have an engineer or a rogue, but we might as well check. We've got Anna here, who is a naturalist. We have Hattis, who is a quick thinker. And Dolores, who is also a quick thinker, but also an athlete, although slightly less proficient at both. Can we get one of these later? We get an increased athlete or quick thinker for her. Hattis gains additional quick thinker or engineer. And Anna will get engineer or naturalist. So do we... if an engineer is helpful, we might as well explore a little bit further and try to see if we can level up one of these characters, Hattis or Anna. Because we might have an engineer then and get a better bonus over there. After a rough day of hill and mountain climbing, Dolores tells the others that the highest peak in Britain is very close by. Are you in for the climb of a lifetime? It will take some extra supplies. So we can climb the mountain or continue exploring. Climbing the mountain will cost us an additional supply. But that is probably okay, so let's try that. It is a hard journey, and the crew's endurance is put to the test. After hours and hours of steep walking in even sections where the only way up is to climb, you finally reach the peak. The view is amazing and the crew is in awe. There are some flags left by other people who got there before you. You decide to plant one yourself to let the world know of your achievement. Great! We got 3 campaign tokens for that. So that was probably a worthwhile trade, I'd say. Now there are certain unexplored areas here, which might still provide a benefit, but might also be completely irrelevant. So we might consider just skipping this one. I'm feeling brave though, so let's actually check this out. Well done! We have found the hidden hoard of this expedition. On every expedition there's a hidden hoard to be found. On these occasions, fate smiles upon your crew. The crew finds, and we get a choice between a treasure hunt, a discovery, or a secret. And I think we'll go for a secret. I'm not quite sure what the... Oh, actually, I like discoveries a lot, so let's go for that. I don't know by heart what kind of benefit all these tokens will give, but discovery tokens will give us research, gold, and renown, which is pretty good. And I do want to focus slightly on research this expedition, so let's also go over here, which will likely give us additional research. What a strange noise. Music is coming from a meadow, but there is no one inside. It seems that the wind, in combination with a strange type of twin flower, is making the sound. You listen for a while to the beautiful sound and make a note of the phenomenon. We get 2 study tokens. Study tokens will give us research at the end of the expedition, so that's pretty nice. Do we expect to... Yeah, we actually do expect to get back up there, perhaps. I'm not quite certain whether we'll be able to make it there. Do we have a diplomat or an archaeologist? I don't think we do. So that one might be worth skipping, even though there is research and gold to be gained. There's research to be done here, where an engineer or rogue could be helpful. Let's just go here. There's a nature challenge. We have a naturalist, right? Yes. Okay, that could be really nice here. So let's go. The landscape of the hill changes. You find more and more shacks and houses, and eventually you arrive at a small mining village. You ask a local about the village. This is the small mining village of Hearthstone. Almost everyone here is a miner. It's hard work, but the pay of a good mining season makes up for a lot. The mines can be found if you follow the main road. We can visit the mine. And we see an old man enjoying a mid-afternoon scotch. We decide to talk to him. I have been retired for some years now, but somehow I cannot leave this place. The charm of finding beautiful stones or gems after weeks of hard work is addictive, really. These mines contain many stones and many secrets. The main mineral here is quartz, but small pieces of gold and amber are found once or twice a year as well. Anna decides to mine for a day. It might be wise to consult an expert or do some research before the crew mines. So we can talk to an expert, we can do some research and mine afterwards, or we can begin mining right away. I think since we are a naturalist, we might do some research first. We can conduct research in order to increase the likelihood of finding amber, or we can reconsider our options. But we are 100% likely to be successful in the research, or we can talk to a gold expert and possibly get some information from him, but that doesn't seem too likely. So let's actually do some research first, which seems to be more conducive. So that increases our base chance by a lot, and because Anna has a decent speech defense, is a scientist, and has 2 naturalist perks, she will be successful here. So that's nice, and we can start mining for a very decent chance of finding some decent stuff. We find mostly quartz while mining, which is not what you are looking for. Once the day is over, you find that one of the quartz pieces looks way different to the other pieces. We find a rare piece of quartz. Great! So we get 3 collect pieces and a druid quartz. That's quite nice. Let's take the treasure. And we leave the mine with a great feeling. We are quite lucky to have found such a treasure in such a place where while many people search for a lifetime to find something so beautiful. Alright. I don't think this will be worth our efforts. There might be an encounter over here which could be exciting, so let's go visit that one, I think. There is no opportunity for supplies inside, which is kind of worrisome, but we'll accrue some penalties and that will likely be okay. Let's go for this encounter here. The crew suddenly gets ambushed by some aggressive-looking men. These foreign fancy pants are going to take all our jobs. Attack! They're charging. So off we go into the encounter phase. Anytime you encounter a hostile or, well, not always hostile, because this game has a rather interesting battle system where you can defeat enemies in a number of different ways, being friendly, devious, or aggressive. But this time we will try to defeat them in an aggressive manner because we're getting a bonus encounter token, which gives us status and gold. So that's pretty nice. So we're aiming to be aggressive here. So that's something our group should be rather good at. So we've got 3 enemies here, and because they are aggressive, they will likely make aggressive attacks against us. So this game revolves around a system of devious beating aggressive, aggressive beating friendly, and friendly beating devious. So we might as well start out devious, because that's rather effective, and then turn the tide of battle into aggressive later. But it might be dangerous because we could just end up being devious, and that's not how we want to be viewed. We want to be viewed as aggressive here. So first of all, let's check their movement. They have a movement of 3, so we can stay out of range of these 2 and just take care of this one first. That would probably be a great idea. So Hedis over here is almost out of range, so let's move her here. And if we move the others at least to this position and this position here, for example, then they shouldn't be able to attack us, and that's good news, I'd say. So Dolores here has a very decent physical attack, but we could try and inflict some debuffs on our enemy first to make the attacks more likely to be effective. Or we can try to buff our allies. So I could have encouraged Dolores before, and then she would have gone extra attack, and it might have made a difference here, actually. So that might still be worth trying, although we can't really do that right now. Well, we actually can do that right now. So let's give that a try. So we can encourage Dolores over here. She feels encouraged right now, and she's confident, which increases her attack power by 25%. So if we check this out, she might be able to one-shot him here. So let's just see if we're successful. We are not, so that means we have to invest an additional attack here from Anna, who also has a decent physical attack, so that's fine. This game is mostly about being careful, I've been told. So if you make sure that your enemies never have a decent attack on you, then you should definitely be fine. Let's see if Dolores can take out one of these guys first, and then we'll make decisions accordingly. For example, the one in the back. That seems like a decent plan. And that was quite effective. The bar that you see at the start here only indicates whether what the minimum amount of damage is that you will inflict. So we could one-shot this guy with Hades here, and that's probably worth a shot. And otherwise, Anna can just finish him off, and these introductory combats shouldn't be too much of a problem. We've got a very decent aggressive team here, so this is what we're supposed to be good at. With these situations solved, the crew can continue exploring. Dolores is baffled by the fact that these men thought that shepherding or mining was of any interest to you. You're out of supplies. You press on, but the situation is having severe effects on your crew members. Anna becomes frustrated, so she loses speech defense. That is something to be careful about, and every single step that we will take from this point forward will have negative consequences on the morale of our explorers. So that's a little worrisome. So we should aim to get to the end sooner rather than later. Also, Anna has managed to earn enough XP to level up. So we can select one of two upgrades over here. We'll always get the experimentation attack to add to our roster of attacks here. And we can either upgrade Naturalist further or add Engineer to our perks. And I do think I like having an Engineer here. So we'll choose that, unlock it, and continue on. Perhaps I haven't been too clear about how combat actually works, but we'll see at the final combat, the final encounter of this expedition, and it should be a little more clear. But I am trying to actually move it along a little bit. The farmer is moving some of his harvest into the local market, but his wheel has gotten stuck in the mud. He's asking for your help. We can help him out. We can take some of his harvest and run. Or we can punch him and take some of his harvest. That seems kind of nasty. Let's just help the poor guy out. We push the cart and it's out in no time. The farmer is very happy and gives you some of the profit that the farmer would have missed out on if he'd been stuck any longer. He will also tell everybody at the market about those nice explorers from the International Society. So we get a collect and a campaign token. That's a nice profit, I think. Dolores starts to feel feeble, so she loses armor, which is her physical defense stat. There might be another encounter over here, or we could get something odd going on. I do want to check that out. There's also a cultural challenge, which we don't really have anything good for. So I feel confident to skip this, but I would like to check out this part here. That's probably worth another debuff. We see a giant tunnel entrance in the side of the hill. We decide to take some torches and explore it. We walk for a few minutes until we notice a giant machine standing inside the tunnel. It seems to be some kind of machine drill, powered by steam. The machine seems to be a prototype and is broken, but contains cutting-edge technology that can be harvested. So we can make a drawing for one guaranteed token, or we can, let's see, give someone the opportunity to gain the engineer perk, steam engines. That's pretty nice. And Anna has a decent chance of success, so we're definitely taking that. So we spin the wheel, we have a 54% chance of success, and we succeed. So that's really nice. Anna studies every single part of the steam drill, removing every part and putting it back again. After hours and hours spent on the drill, Anna becomes an expert in steam engines, and not only that, but Anna understands that this drill contains cutting-edge technology, so we get 3 study tokens. That's pretty nice. But also, Hedis starts rambling and loses speech power. Which is something to be concerned about, but I think we can take another encounter over here and just see what's down here, whether it's worth taking additional risks. This is a free move. That's interesting. Let's just explore a little bit further. We're accruing a bit of risk, but yeah, it's it's going to be a little scary now. A group of sheep is fighting to eat from a slightly greener patch of grass. It might be interesting to study this peculiar patch of grass. We can fight the sheep, or we can not fight the sheep over some grass. But I think we are able to fight the sheep. We approach the patch of grass, but the sheep see us as competition and start attacking. This should be an easy encounter, so I'm not too worried, and it will be good experience for our explorers. So as long as we don't resolve this encounter aggressively, we get 3 study tokens. That should be fine. Our group is not very suited to friendly combat, but devious should be definitely possible. We have a lot of aggressive attacks though, and we should keep in mind that Anna has a very low speech defense. How much speed do the sheep have? They have 3. So we could stay out of range, but I don't think that's particularly conducive, although Hedis can probably take one of them out. I don't like it too much, because a devious attack would only have a range of 2, and then we would have to... Well, we either... our devious attacks seem to be particularly effective, so we can just let one of the sheeps... Why am I worried so much about a bunch of sheeps, you ask? Well, you can win an encounter in a number of different ways, and it's kind of... I don't know what the sheeps are friendly, so they will likely appear innocent and try to convince us not to attack them or something. That's kind of how it works. So we lose spirit, and eventually we end up not even wanting to go exploring anymore. And we really don't want that. So let's try and terrify the sheep here with Dolores. And I think we will be able to scare at least 2 of the sheep away, which is probably good enough. We might run some risk. She has decreased speech defense, that's probably fine. And why are they all arrogant? I don't know where this arrogance comes from, but I might be missing something. So let's try and take out most of these guys. This should be fine, and the last one might be a little worrisome because Hedis does have a reduced speech offense. So let's check that out first. We can move over here, try and sadden this sheep. Oh, it should still be pretty effective. Okay, so there's only 1 sheep left. I feel confident that we can win this. So the sheep have lost all their spirit and have given up the will to fight over the patch of grass. And now the sheep is trying a friendly attack against us, which is particularly effective because we have chosen to be the devious ones. And that means that all our crew members gain the arrogant. Oh, that's what it is. So as soon as we use the devious attack, our battle mood has changed to devious, which is particularly weak against friendly. So that means that all of us have minus 30 speech defense, which is kind of nasty. But there's only 1 sheep left, so we shouldn't be in too much trouble here. There we go. And that's the last of the sheep, I think. So we have resolved this in a non-aggressive manner, which means that we get 3 study tokens, as well as 2 encounter tokens. And Hedis here gets a slight bonus for the remainder of the expedition, because a random crew member gets a bonus from completing an encounter. We successfully calm down the sheep, and we can take a look at the grass. After careful examination and some tests, it seems the grass contains some special nutrients that attract the sheep. You take some with you for their scientific value. And we're out of supplies still, so Dolores starts rambling and loses speech power. That is a little concerning. We could... there may be supplies to be found over here, so that would be nice and would allow us to explore slightly further. So I would like that. Normally we wouldn't be so excited about this, but we found an abandoned farm. The fields are overgrown with vegetables and even some fruit trees. We are able to take some time and restock our supplies. So we got 3 supplies back, and that's pretty useful. Our crew can be improved in this location now, so I'm glad I checked this out. 2 people are having a heated discussion as you walk by. One of them yells at you, "Hey you! Yes, you! We need your opinion on something. We are discussing what is the best way to solve problems. I'm convinced that using speech will solve any problem you encounter, but this guy here thinks that using physical attacks is the way to go. What do you think? If you choose me, I will teach one of you how to use speech more effectively on this island. If you choose him, he will do the same for attack." I think we could use a buff to our speech, because the last encounter on the first expedition is usually one you do not want to resolve aggressively, if I remember correctly. So we can choose speech and then choose someone who will be trained here for this expedition only. And I think let's take a quick look about what debuffs everyone has accrued. Minus speech defense, minus speech attack, so let's not choose Hades because she's likely to be really crappy with that. Let's choose Anna. Anna learns about the history and customs of this island, which will be very useful during challenges on this expedition. They will be useless on other expeditions though. That wasn't too impressive, but we can still continue on because we still have some supplies left. There might be another encounter here, oh boy. I wasn't expecting so many of them. You walk down a small path when you hear shouting and screaming coming your way. 2 thieves are running from an angry mob. Since you are blocking the path, one of the thieves asks, "Please, traveler, we have no time for you right now. If you let us through, we will give you some compensation. So we can take the bribe, or we can decline and stop them." And that seems to be a great idea. Let's start the encounter. I could use the experience, and we'll probably get a decent reward afterwards anyway. So let's see how this will work. If we resolve this one aggressively, we get a status bonus, which is really nice. So let's try and do it that way. There are only 2 enemies here, so that we should be able to make short work of them, I think. Let's see how effective our aggressive attacks are here. They seem to be particularly resilient. They are confident, so confident speech abilities are more effective. And enraged speech abilities are 2. They don't seem to have any armor, so I may just be missing something here. Perhaps Hades is just... no, they just have a lot of health, I guess. Yeah, they just have a lot of health. Okay, in that case, they have 3 movement. We may want to buff up first. They will likely be using physical attacks because they're aggressive. So let's see if we can give them kind of a penalty. I don't think we can. We can give them minus 25% attack if we start out deviously. We can probably afford to use 1 devious... oh, I definitely should have leveled up Dolores beforehand. That was kind of a mistake. Yes, and Anna can also do that. Alright, but they're both melee attacks, so I'm a little worried about... well, if both of those succeed, then that's probably fine. We can also buff one of our own to get additional attack. One of us has reduced attack, I think. Oh, no, we didn't. We only got minus armor. So we don't want to have Dolores in front, I think. We also have this experimentation attack. Yeah, we could do that. Oh, that's actually rather weak right now. Let's not do that. let's see. Let's just start out with this here. Move her over here and start with a Terrify on this guy to reduce his attack and make it. We can just focus him down, I think. Although we're a little late for that because we can only attack him once right now, which is not likely to actually get rid of him. So that's a bit of a problem. Can we attack this guy though? We can attack him twice, and that will likely get rid of him. And we also want to change the mood back into aggressive, so we're best served to only use aggressive attacks for now. Let's switch to Dolores first and see how this works out. Attack him. Our crew is particularly suited to aggressive and devious attacks, so that means we have range 3, right? So we should be fine if we stand over here. And attack that guy. This might finish him off, and if it doesn't, well, that's kind of a pity. Yeah. So he's pissed. That doesn't really do anything aside from having a negative attitude. So we're taking 2 attacks here. That could end up badly, especially with our reduced armor, but it doesn't seem to be particularly effective, especially with his reduced attack. That really didn't do much. So we can just finish them off with aggressive attacks right here, which shouldn't be too hard. Although they seem to be particularly resilient. So we're doing hostile versus hostile, which means that devious abilities would be more effective, but we really want to remain. Well, actually, we can use the devious abilities to finish them off. That's probably fine because one devious ability will not change the mood yet. There we go. And Dolores can finish off this guy. Still having our mood remain aggressive, which is the proper way to deal with thieves. So we should get an additional benefit here. There we go. And Dolores gets another bonus for the remainder of the expedition, so that was definitely worth it. The angry mob finally catches up to the thieves and sees that you already took care of them. The mob thanks you, and everyone now knows about your good deed, so we get a campaign token. Alright, so we're doing pretty well here. We have 1 supplies left. Oh, this one is a free move. Do we have a diplomat or an archaeologist? I don't think we do. But can we get one? I don't think we can. No, we cannot. But at least we can take a look and see if we get anything useful. So Hades is a pretty good quick thinker, so I think I'll take the athlete path for Dolores here. Let's unlock that one, and Hades here. We can give her nimble, but yeah, that's fine. We can probably give her nimble because engineering. Anna is already an engineer, so let's focus on quick thinking here. Alright. Let's move over here, because it's free, we shouldn't need to spend supplies there. As we walk through the hills, you seem to spot increasing amounts of ancient weaponry lying on the stone ground. It looks like an ancient battlefield where Saxons fought heavily, a battlefield worth studying. So Anna can study probably the best choice here, or we can just take 1 collect token. So either a 36% to gain 3 tokens, or a 100% to gain 1 token. I think we'll take the chances here. They're not in our favor, but we can at least try. And that turned out pretty good for us. Alright, Anna has reached some interesting conclusions about this ancient battle. It seems the Saxons were ambushed here as they traveled north. They suffered heavy casualties, and it looks like they retreated. You take some of the weaponry and leave this ancient battlefield. Great, let's continue. We get the 3 tokens and a weapon. I'm not sure what happened there. We did get something, so I don't really know what happened. Oh, maybe we got something in our inventory here. No, we didn't. I am not sure what extra benefit we gained from that, but we'll probably see. Let's explore the final area here. The burial site of the Saxon kings must be somewhere around here. Once you get there, this expedition will come to an end. You can come back to this place when you wish to continue later. Are you ready to go? Yes, we are, because we're out of supplies right now. Crew searches through the hills and quickly finds what they were looking for, the Saxon burial site. One of the tombs is of King Egbert, a particularly mysterious figure. Finding its secrets will surely skyrocket your reputation at the renowned explorers. However, you hear a familiar laughter. Behind you stands the French explorer Rivolo, who is considered to be the most promising of the renowned explorers. He speaks, "Thank you, amateur. Under Rule 24B of the Explorer Mandate, fellow explorers should help each other out, and I really need to excavate King Egbert's tomb to gain another honorary title. Explain, please, how you worked hard for this treasure." Rivolo continues, "It seems my explanation wasn't clear enough. Maybe my strong friend Tommy can explain the situation better, while I plunder King Egbert's tomb." Hey, wait a minute! Before Anna can stop Rivolo, his crew fighter Tommy steps forward. "Not little explorers, beat it! He's not letting you pass." So we should probably defend ourselves. Alright, oh, we actually get a bonus for beating this aggressively. I do like that. So we can either do this devious, so we get a bonus for doing this aggressively. That seems like a great idea. And it is mightily convenient also. So he's going to be aggressive, and he has a lot of goons. That is slightly worrisome. We should probably try and take care of this guy. Can we do that? Let's see about that. Can I hit this guy from over here? Let's move Hadis over here and see if she can shoot this guy. She can definitely do that. So if the other two can take care of these guys, then I should be safe from the other ones. Because this is a ranged 3 attack, and they are now only... I can't count. That's a bit of a pity. Oh well, just one attack should be fine, right? Oh, I can even do an area of effect attack. But this is not particularly effective. This is an area attack, which I can at least try out, I guess. Let's see how effective this will be. Probably doesn't quite finish them off. Unless I make her confident first. Can I make her confident? I can make her excited, but that's not really what we're trying to do here. Although that will also increase her speech power, which will also work. That's probably a better use of our time then. And since abilities used on allies always work, that seems to be a great plan de campagne. So let's buff her speech power by making her excited. And abilities on allies always work. Our speech powers, by the way, are rather crappy because they only have an 80% chance to hit, while our devious and aggressive powers always hit. Which further illustrates the part that we're not really that good against with speech powers, I should add. So we can Primal Roar here, target becomes terrified. Yeah, that's pretty nice, I'd say. Hadis is probably getting hurt by this guy here, because I can't count. That's a little annoying. Why didn't I think of that? Perhaps because it just isn't that easy. And the big boss, we should probably try to finish off the henchmen first, because they will start to hurt after a bit. Ooh. A miss is really convenient, and that's probably because Hadis here is a scout who uses grit for defense, and that means she has a 38% chance of evading an enemy ability, and that's really nice. This guy over here has a movement of 3 again, so that means he can get to... that's probably not going to work for us. If I step back, can I still use my flask to hit 2 of these guys? Probably not. probably not. Probably not going to work then. We might just focus this guy down, but that doesn't seem to be the greatest of plans. How about we just move up, take a hit from this guy, and try to get rid of all the henchmen? That's still a great idea, I think. So let's try that. Let's get rid of this guy first. Just take out the henchmen first. Make sure that you're only taking as few hits as absolutely necessary. Dolores can move over here and hit this guy. Oh, and we changed to hostile again, and that's good because we started out. Oh no, well, we did start out. We did start out as devious. Yeah, that's fine. Because we took out 2 guys with a devious attack. But that's okay. Dolores can probably take a hit from the big guy, so that's fine. You really want to avoid getting your characters downed, though. Because that will cause you to lose, what's it called again? Resolve, and resolve is your prime resource for not losing the game, and that seems rather important, right? So can we debuff this guy? That would probably be useful. We can make him saddened, but that's not particularly effective. I can make him terrified, and that seems pretty nice. That is a melee range ability, so I will have to move out of the way. That's fine, though. She can move over here. Let's lower his attack. I'm not sure how effective this will be. Oh, that's more effective than I thought. We use the devious ability, but to cause the mood to change to devious will take us a lot longer. So that's really fine. And let's move her back a little bit to do another attack, and we should be able to finish this next turn. We could have maybe finished it this turn, but I think I'm fine like this. Taking a hit on Anna here, but that's okay. And with all attacks right here, we should definitely be able to finish him off. And being aggressive should be good for us in when considering rewards. Trying to get into the habit of moving my characters away as far as possible. And taking out the last boss, taking out the boss himself would cause the encounter to end anyway. Right, we get 2 encounter tokens. Tommy is impressed by our skill, so that should be good for us. Tommy is pretty impressed. Wow, you are pretty strong. Few can take on the mighty Tommy gun. Take some gold in this checklist. It describes treasures we want to find here. I guess if you beat us to it, you deserve one as well. And he leaves to follow Rivelu, who has already plundered King Egbert's tomb and left. We are a band of mighty warriors, huzzah! And all of our crew gets their attack permanently increased by 1. That's pretty nice. The crew quickly turns to the mysterious checklist you got from the encounter. It seems to be some sort of agenda or scheme. Anna takes it and reads it out loud. Treasure still to grab, the one hidden in the tomb of the Forgotten King. That one treasure held by the locals, the one in the cache near the dangerous cliff, due date today. Seems Rivelu was going to nab some more treasures. You might be able to get one before him. Which treasure are you going to chase? Did we not... I'm not sure quite how this works, but let's investigate the tomb, I guess? Yeah, that seems to be something that we could have some decent success. There is another tomb around here. Maybe you can outsmart Rivelu this time. Oh, I can just see my chances here. Alright. So we can have a 36% chance of a lot of research tokens. That's not too great, though. We can also check the locals. Since you fancy yourself as more charming than Rivelu, perhaps not. For a lot of campaign tokens, or we can get the one on the dangerous cliff. Let's see if we... Oh, those chances look a lot better for a lot of collect tokens, but that's fine. Yeah, let's have Hades take on this challenge. That's an 87% chance of success, so that looks pretty nice. That's too bad. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Hedis' plan didn't go too well. Rivaloo has already passed through here, and you're about to leave empty-handed. As you're about to leave the area, Hedis sees a chest buried in the ground and starts digging. A treasure. Lady Luck hasn't abandoned you completely. We gain a treasure, Saxon King's Mantle. Alright. That's still okay. We get some renown, we get some insight, and we get 1 collect whenever a diplomat succeeds on the adventure wheel. Okay. Well, we'll certainly take that. With this last find, your expedition still concludes on a high note. However, it's clear that if you want to be the most renowned explorer, you'll have to beat Rivaloo. Now it's personal. Back to London. Alright. So with this expedition, we have gained a lot of resources. So let's check that out. And with that, I think we will end this episode. So we'll continue in London for the next one, pick an expedition and do that one. We've got some nice stuff out here. I'm not quite sure how useful all of this will be, but we'll definitely check that out next time. So hope this gives you a decent impression of our of the game. I'm excited to try this for a little bit more. Hope you do too. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.